What's good? Welcome back to the 360 Video Podcast. This is episode 6. We want to start with some announcements. We are now streaming on all podcast listening platforms. That means Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
Spotify.
Yep.
Oh, that's it.
And that's it.
I bet. I bet.
Audible.
Audible.
No. That's it. It's just Apple and Spotify.
Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I believe the first 3 episodes are up, and we're gonna do 4. Obviously, when this goes up, and I think episode 5 was the last episode.
Well, all of them should be up by the time this goes up.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Cool. Bet. What are we talking about today, fellas?
I got a question. As always.
Yep.
The bringer of the questions.
Yep. Doing a heavy lifting.
Yeah. I wrote it down. So, all right. So, do y'all feel like adulting got harder once we became adults?
That's it? No. I don't think adulting got harder.
You don't think so?
I think
everything just got more expensive.
I mean, things always get more expensive.
I don't think it's uniquely hard. I don't think it's harder, but I think we have a different experience.
Mm-hmm. In which ways?
We have different sets of things that we gotta deal with and handle.
Like what?
I think one thing that comes to my mind immediately is the availability of just stupid shit you could waste your money on.
Mm-hmm.
Like
what's the word? It's a C word. Commodification.
Yeah.
I think that's the word.
The commodification of a lot of things.
Yeah.
I order food probably way too often.
Mm-hmm.
Uber Eats. The fact that you can have access to that. Not that it's a bad thing. It's probably good. It's probably helpful.
No, I know what you mean. There's never been so many things to spend money on that are right in front of you.
Exactly.
For convenience.
Exactly.
But all that stuff didn't exist under the guise of convenience back then. We just had to do the stuff.
And
true.
And on top of that, I think with having digital money as opposed to physical money,
that's true too.
You're more likely to
spend it.
You're more likely to spend your digital money because it's not real to you.
And didn't credit cards just start in the 80s? Like credit started in the 80s?
Yeah, it is very relatively
So now we have
new.
credit cards.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. What I want to say? Oh, I have a theory that like young people don't know how to cook. I don't know if you ever heard the term we're losing recipes.
Yeah,
but
of
I
course.
think that's like literally like I think like I don't know what it could be. I don't know if it's like because people don't have kids so they don't have to, or is it just because we have the food apps? So it's like, well, I could just order. I don't have to know how to cook. But I think cooking is a very useful skill.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, if you go back 50 years, right, like eating takeout, it wasn't as convenient. So everybody knew how to cook.
Yeah.
Well, traditionally, like the mom of the house would cook, right? That'd be the breadwinner. He wouldn't really cook, but
you talking about the 50s?
Yeah, like 50, 60, yeah, like shit like that, yeah.
Okay.
But like, what I'm saying is somebody in the crib knew how to cook because going out to eat and ordering food wasn't as convenient and as common as it is today.
Yeah, like when we were kids, it was like a lot more rare, right?
Yeah,
it was like a treat.
It was a treat.
Like, exactly. Like once a week,
once a week on the weekend.
Yeah.
So like and it's like going to McDonald's.
Yeah.
I think it's a couple things.
But it changed over time too. Like when I was a teenager, we'd be eating out a lot more fast food wise. So things like it started speeding up. Like that's just how the world started kind of going.
Yeah, I think historically all like the housework was delegated to girls. So that's part of it. Like the women, like you said, were cooking for the family. So men probably haven't been able to cook like largely. Like no, I know Jamaican men know how to cook. That's one thing my dad is super proud of, like being able to cook. But largely, men aren't the ones cooking, probably don't know how to cook. And I think definitely not in my family. Like no one told me to cook. I feel like a lot of people aren't teaching or like not cooking around their kids or like inviting their kids into that experience. So if you're not seeing that often, and also women's role in society is changing to not now be the person that is always cooking or always doing all the chores. Now just less people are like tasked with this thing, this responsibility. So it's just not as prevalent because also we have the accessibility to easy food all the time.
Yeah, but this is all stemming from the question, do we think adulting is harder, right? So like yes, a lot of things are accessible and it's easier to just like spend money, but I feel like it could be flipped. A lot of things are more accessible now in terms of like knowledge. So we have a lot more resources now in 2025 that our parents didn't have, our grandparents didn't have, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So in some cases, it makes things easier as an adult. Like
You-
like if you go back to, let's say, you know what I'm saying, your grandfather's, right? And something broke in the crib and they had to figure out how to fix it, right? This is just like a one-off example. They would have to figure it out. I could go on YouTube and type in a tutorial and I'm gonna figure that joint out on the, you know what I'm saying, tip of my fingers.
That's true.
Like things like that become easier.
You can
as
argue
adult.
that it also makes people dumber because right? Because aren't you relying on technology? I agree that it does make things easy. You could look things up like Google Maps. That's convenient. But do you think technology could be a detriment in that way? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, if you rely
Yeah, I
on
If you relying
technology
on
in
it too
general
much.
too
No,
much.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Just the same way Kyo was talking about how like food delivery and that extends to fast food, like all that stuff for convenience. But then what you were saying, you lose recipes, you lose the ability to like do those things. So I think it's true. I think it goes hand in hand what you were saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree for sure.
Like if you have everything at the tip of your fingers and you could look up the answer on anything, then like you lose some of your problem solving skills.
yeah, because you won't always have those
That-
types of things on hand, and also you just need to for your own like
Mm-hmm.
autonomy as a person.
Yep.
Like we don't, like
Like if your phone was dead, do you know how to get home? You know
right,
what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like,
Right.
You can't be a zombie. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
that's a great point.
I was
yeah.
gonna say if we're judging it on by the metric of resourcefulness, it is way harder now because most people don't have the skills to be resourceful because no one has been building that because no one can problem solve. People
Yeah.
can obviously, but
Like,
we're not doing it in the same ways they had to do it.
Yeah.
It's like an option for us.
Yeah, it's different.
Like, when I was a kid, we used to drive. Well, we used to drive a lot. My family to Detroit because I have family there. I'm from Chicago, right? So it's like 300 miles away. And my dad, he said when he first used to go over there to see my uncle and aunt, he used to print the directions out online, and then he'd have like pages, right? Because
Oh yeah, my mom used to do that too. Yeah.
So then I remember, he told me after a few years, he knows the whole way to get to their house from Chicago by heart, like all like the hundreds of miles, because like that's just in his head,
Mhm.
Yeah.
over time. But like I just think back to like how many like printed GPS instructions he used to have, how far shit has come, right?
Yeah.
And now GPS is like built into cars.
Now I put that joint on Waze and I
That's
don't
what I'm
gotta
saying.
remember anything. I got that joint on Waze. I'm out.
GPS is built into most cars.
Google
now.
Maps.
It's like it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, but I think overall, to answer the question, at least in my opinion, I don't think it necessarily got harder, but I think that the challenges that we face are different. And the challenges that every generation has had to face, for the most part, are different. Obviously, there's going to be some things that are consistent, but I don't think that it's necessarily gotten harder.
I think it definitely got harder in the sense of financial stability. Stability. Thank you. So I don't know. A down payment for a house is what, $100K now, whereas before your mom was probably buying a house for $30,000, or at least putting a down payment for way less. So like, I don't know. Are we like? Is it easier? I don't know what I'm trying to ask.
I wouldn't
But-
put the word easy or hard on it. I think
But
like the barrier of entry is much higher now.
which makes it harder, right? Like if you want to be independent, it's much harder to be independent because
Yeah.
of the financial.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Nah, that makes sense. Yeah, I get you. I was gonna say people like parents, they raise their kids for the generation that they grew up in,
Yeah.
but the kids are not gonna live in that generation. They're gonna live in a new generation.
Yeah.
So like we were all saying, like every generation is dealing with unique issues of that generation. I don't think there's ever gonna be easy time to be alive and like
Yeah.
figure out the world just because of how chaotic life is.
Yeah.
So,
An example of that is your parents always say, "Oh, go to college," right? But like you don't even necessarily need it. It's good to go, but you don't necessarily need it as much as you did back then.
yeah.
And it's crazy, right? And you go to college, you getting all this debt, and you say, "Well, back in the day, you remember like $100,000 a year was so much money," but then you get people saying it's not even as much as it was back then. Not even, you don't even have to go to that extreme. You could say $50,000 a year.
People used to work a summer job and be able to pay for their fucking college. Please, I need this podcast to pop off. I'm so much debt.
No, son.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
You got something to add or?
Nah, just
All right. What's my next question? Okay, my next question is. Well, next thing I have to say is like I think IRL third spaces, in real life third spaces. If you don't know what a third space is, it's just somewhere that's not your home or work. It's just a place you go to hang out, to socialize. It's just a hangout spot. So I think IRL third spaces are being replaced by like the internet. So like Discord or gaming. Like why go out when you could like chill in the house and on the game and talk to your friends on the game and play a game like that online. So the question is, are we suffering socially with lack of in-person interactions?
Why would I talk to the Huz in person when I could talk to the Huz on my phone?
On Hinge, right?
You're not talking to them anyways. So.
Not sponsored.
You're not talking to them anyways. So.
Damn.
But
You're right.
are we? You said, are we lacking socially? Are we?
Like, are we suffering socially from lack of?
I think that this is just going back to what we were talking
Yeah,
about.
we were talking about this before.
Yeah, we were talking about this on the last pod. But I think any type of socialization is like good for you. You know, like sure. Whenever we see in like the old school shows of like people in the 1980s or 70s, whatever the case may be, they always go into like arcades and shit or the mall to go talk to their friends. And I mean, like, that's cool. And I guess you can still do that today, but it's more convenient to get back to the crib after work or school or whatever the case may be. Hop on Discord, hop on the game, and then socialize that way. It's a convenience thing. And I still think that you're still getting the socialization that you need. It's just not necessarily in person. And I think this is also tying back into what we were just talking about different generations having different challenges. And I think this generation that we've grown up in and are currently in, it's just we do a lot more socialization online. And I don't think that I really don't think the majority of people nowadays are such like social outcasts or cannot interact with another person, that like this is something that needs to be addressed, or is like something that is, I don't know, like taking the world by storm. Like I think for the most part, most people can still go outside, talk to people like strangers and shit. It's just nowadays we just socialize on the internet more.
So you don't think it matters?
I think it is. I think it's a big. I actually disagree with you. I think it's a big enough to consider the issue, especially considering the impact of COVID and how that shook everything for people our age. Now consider that for the kids that had to miss school as well.
Yeah. Well, okay. So when I was talking mainly about like older people.
Okay. So like 20 to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think like the people who have already had a substantial amount of in real life socialization. I don't think that internet socialization is a bad thing. No. But for the kids, that was a big change. You know, like my girl's mom is an assistant principal, and she said that those kids were set back an insane amount. You know, the kids that were out of school like 1-2 years. So that was a big deal. But I think as long as you have a good base, like whatever, you want to go be on Discord to talk to your friends rather than going out to the mall, like that's fine.
I think the way that it impacts us the most, like people our age the most, is probably dating wise. That's where I see it.
I was gonna get to that. Yes, I was gonna get to that. I agree. I think, yeah, definitely dating wise. I do think, obviously, men. I don't know how well men know how to talk to women as much anymore, but it could go both ways because there are some women who don't know how to speak to, or speak in general, for that matter.
What, you think all men just like lost the riz? Like what?
No. Like yeah, I think a lot of men don't know how to talk to women as much anymore, at least in person. I don't know.
But why?
But so when we're online a lot, you get used to that. And then when you go outside, you have to speak to someone in person. I do think like if you're inside too much, it does affect that.
Oh, that's for sure. If you don't go outside a lot, then you're
your skills go down.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I want to say.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, you gotta go outside just for growth. Like everything is fine in moderation. We can't put a blanket statement over like is having like online friends or whatever good or bad. But I think it just has to be in moderation. I do think being online too much is bad. I guess bad. I don't know what the right word is, but no, I don't.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't be chronically online.
Like reclusive behavior. Even if you are able to get socially fixed to a degree from online, I do think we do need to go out and about as human beings. I think we had a discussion about this at some point.
We did,
about,
yeah.
like vegging out or whatever in like the future. But yeah, I mean, that's just my personal opinion. But I do think like as human beings, we do need to go out and like experience these things and grow. Like there are days where I just be inside multiple days doing nothing, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't think that's healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's saying it's okay to be a hermit and be in the crib for like a month straight, order Uber Eats every day, be on the computer.
You're seeing extreme shit. No one said stay in the crib for a month straight. The point is, if you're like, it doesn't have to be something so extreme like that. It just has to be in moderation.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing.
I think only communicating with your friends online is bad too. So just because, or I know how to go out and communicate with them, so it's okay if we sit inside and just communicate inside on our own computers. I think that's bad. I think you should go out with your friends and say, let's go do this activity.
I wouldn't say it's bad because I think it's better than nothing. Like if you didn't have friends, then I would want you to talk to your friends on Discord. Like if you couldn't talk to anybody, then I would want you to do that. But it is, what's the right word? It is not conducive to the standards that we have in the society that works for us, right? That has worked for us for a long time. It's not the direction we want to go. So we shouldn't do as much of that as there probably will continue to be, if that makes sense.
I'm of the opinion that you will most likely develop better real life connections than you will online. I've met some amazing people online. I'm happy to have met them in person as well. But overall, I do think from a social perspective, you'll get a better fix in person for yourself.
I think we are an example of people who met online and then kind of translated that to in person.
For sure. I just think of it like I started talking to like a lot of friends online, like CTC when I was like 13, for example. I used to talk to those guys every day up until now. I always thought that was good. I still had like friends in real life I used to hang out with and stuff. So I always just saw it as like something epic. Like when I wasn't hanging out with my friends, I could go on my computer, talk to my friends there. Like, so I never saw it as like a bad thing. I never thought like, oh man, like I'm on the computer, like talking to people. Like, is this a bad thing? Like, am I like antisocial type shit? You know what I mean? I guess it can get to that level if you just stay inside too much. I guess it's more concerning if you're probably a teenager because it's easier to just be inside, not doing anything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then that shit can kind of mold you to a degree, right? Like,
I don't want to rehash the old conversation too much. So like I keep on thinking this in terms of relationships. Like you're in a relationship, so this probably doesn't impact you as much today. But like talking to people, I'm not even gonna say talking to women because it is just talking to the person that you're attracted to. Like I don't really know how to go about it for real, and I don't know the best way to find the thing that I want. Like how do you do it? When Max talking about third spaces, the most likely place for me to find a meet a shorty is at a bar or club.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want.
And that's not good to me.
I don't want to meet my shorty at a bar or club. Like, hopefully, like if I'm fucking lucky, we have a lot of things that we're interested in, that we're both interested in, and it makes sense and works out for both of us. But that's not really a great setting to meet somebody. And like, shorties be trying to have fun with their friends. I'm not even going front, and I'm not going to sit here and say that you're at a club, you got to talk to me when I come up to you type shit. Like, I'm not trying to say that, but I think it is real that there has become like a, not standard, but like a culture of leave them alone or leave me alone. Like don't approach because I'm not interested type of thing that exists to some extent. So I think man, fuck you outside. I think it'd be straight. There to that extent, I think socially, especially a lot of men, which is why fucking red pill culture is so successful and shit, because it masks as a thing like, hey, I could get you women, but like a lot of people don't know how to get girls. The spaces to talk to women that aren't only clubs and bars and shit like that don't really exist anymore. So,
well, what were they before that we lost?
Like obviously school is still a thing, but like stuff like going to church, or like going to like your soccer team or whatever shit like that. And I don't like. I'm thinking of like random examples. I don't know what adults were like back in the day. I'm sure there was other shit. I wasn't an adult.
Well,
but
yeah, I mean I guess that's what I'm kind of confused on. Is like, I feel like those are still things that are,
But
like,
I also
relevant
think,
today.
But I also
What,
think the
like church and
culture.
shit?
Yeah,
No.
People, like people
But
still
what-
go to church, and you can still meet women at church.
Yeah,
and
I met
wait,
some
wait,
girls
wait,
at
wait.
church.
Wait, wait.
I
No.
spun back after college.
Let me-
I'm telling you right now.
I do think the culture of approaching women is different. So you was talking about that, like approaching a woman. I do think sometimes when you're a guy and you're trying to be genuine and be like, hey, how are you? What's up? There are girls who look at you a little sideways, and it's like, it could be off like, damn, I'm not even like that. I'm not even trying to be a creep. I'm genuinely just trying to say what's up. And then some girls would look at you like, But then if you ask some women, they'll go, no, I would like if a guy walked up, I don't know.
Man, that's
You
just
see what I'm
life.
saying?
That's just
Yeah.
Like, I get-
that's just the gamble. I had that
That's
shit
just
happen
the
twice. Like
But-
I mean, not twice. I had both the sides happen. Pull up on a girl, she like, oh my god. Pull up on a girl, she like, man.
Yeah.
I
But you
get
should,
it.
you should still try though. I do think you
No,
should
man,
definitely
that's
still try.
life.
I get why women respond like that.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense.
There's a lot of men who's weird. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's a lot of guys who like are
Yeah,
really
there is.
weird. And
That
I
man, right?
understand it.
Officer,
Yeah.
that man,
But that
right?
don't-
Officer, that one right
Officer,
there.
this guy behind me.
That right there is crazy.
But that doesn't mean to not shoot your shot.
Yeah.
Like still
Yeah,
shoot your
in
shot.
a
In a
good,
respectable
in a good,
way.
respectful way. Yeah.
In a
If you're
respectful way.
weird, do not shoot your shot. Actually, sorry to say.
Because
Keep that inside if you're weird.
there was no online dating, so you had to go shoot your
Nah,
shot.
online dating has been around for a minute.
It
though.
has, but I'm saying, at-
Bro.
since when? When did it start? Do you think?
I don't know, but I remember watching
Like early 2000s.
I remember watching
like old
But no one was
documentaries
on
about
it though.
that
Like
joint.
no one was
Yeah,
on it
yeah.
though. No one was on it.
I think there
Like
were
eHarmony.
eHarmony,
type joint.
Yeah,
I think
Cupid.
there was a decent amount of people. Maybe it wasn't like mainstream. Like now, it seems crazy. It seems
Nah,
like
I
more
don't-
people than not use.
I don't think it
Hinge
was. I don't think it was a decent amount. Like people look at you crazy if you use on
Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
and like
really
back in like the
frowned
early
upon.
2010s
Oh,
or late
yeah.
2000s,
Wait,
when you
wait.
said, "Yo, I met my girl online," they'll look at you crazy.
They
Like,
look
Really?
super
Really?
crazy.
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like
I didn't know
the
that.
the
I guess you're probably right.
the concept. Like I think even still today, like the concept of saying, "I met my husband or my wife on Hinge." People are still kind
Still
of
gonna be like, should I
If you're
go?
a parent,
or
and
they're
you-
like, "Oh wow, you're super lucky." Like that worked
First
for
off,
you.
Yeah.
if you're a parent and you bring a kid into this world, you better find them some great spousal options. That needs to be a new rule that goes in when they hit a certain age. My parents need to present me some spousal options.
It was my friend's
So
birthday.
we'll go from there.
He just wanted to get that off his chest.
He said,
he just really
I
wanted to-
need an arranged marriage.
Yeah, because we were thinking of
Low-key,
different
they
ways
work.
to meet people, and I was like, they need to bring back the mother and father present different spousal options to you.
Another
Oh my
thing,
God.
and I was just reminded of this because I was at a birthday today,
Mhm.
and it was at a roller rink. So stuff like that, I think, is
Yeah.
like what used to exist. Like people go out to a roller rink. It's not
People still
necessarily a
go
club.
though.
Yeah, I went today,
Yeah.
but the culture of society is not centered around that type of thing. if
Okay,
that makes sense.
yeah. I agree,
That's
I
a good
agree, I
idea.
agree.
Yeah.
That's a good way to
Do
put
y'all
it.
have an ideas for like IRL third spaces?
Well, I don't think that
Don't
there
say
is-
it because we won't get rich off if you got
Wait.
one.
I
No,
do.
no.
I told y'all about
wait,
it.
wait,
Don't
wait,
say
wait.
it.
I
My
don't
crib.
think that there is necessarily a lack of third spaces. I think because the mentality of the third spaces has changed is what's making the problem. Like, there's still all these places that we just brought up: church, roller rinks, mall, soccer game, running club, whatever. These are all still things that are still relevant today. But because society has changed and like, you know, now
Mm.
all these weird people are
Mhm.
able to shoot their shots easier because of like online dating and the ease to like use Tinder, Hinge, etc. Now people are looking at these third spaces like different. Like if you go to the rolling rink, like you said, you're just trying to say what's good, they're looking at you crazy because of all these experiences that they've had online. So I don't think there's necessarily like we need to have more third spaces because we already have them. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
I see what you're saying.
You
but
saying the culture?
It's just the culture has shifted. That's all that's all that shifted. So there's not necessarily like, yo, we need more spots. We got more spots, but it's not gonna shift the culture. Culture's just gonna be shifted.
Where'd you meet your girl?
Listen,
Interesting.
man, the culture.
Interesting.
I'll be DMing on TikTok. I
He
can't
said
front.
Instagram for anyone who didn't hear. We have a guest in the building.
Yeah. Secondary to me going to the roller rink, the other part is meeting people through your friends is underrated.
That
shit is the best way. That's one of the
that's
best
cool
ways.
because you got someone who could like sell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, cool.
It's like
Yo,
a,
good looking for letting me borrow the Lambo last week.
Man,
This guy's crazy.
I think it's like similar to like if you go to the same school as someone, like they're like the social vetting is already done.
Yeah.
Like you can trust that this person like is fairly normal or like has like some credibility because they're in the same like space as you.
Yeah.
If you
so fire.
exactly,
You just gotta be seen around another person. No words need to be spoken, and it's like he's normal.
literally. So we need more of that. Like I need more of that.
Yeah, where you can do nothing and give off aura. That's what's needed.
I used to have the mysterious Riz, like,
yeah?
He's mad cool. Now that shit don't work.
I was like, what is he doing?
Officer, there's somebody in the corner. Come get him.
He acting mysterious for no reason. Please come get him.
Oh
Yo,
my
what's
God.
going on, bro?
My bad. I'm trying to.
Yeah, they dropping off my Lambo outside.
There's a truck outside. Hopefully they don't pick up.
My Porsche 911 and my Porsche Spider is on the way. My fault.
All right, what's the next topic, man?
Do y'all think social media worsen society's views on beauty standards?
Yeah, duh.
Yeah, easily. Next
So
question.
obviously,
What type of question is that? Duh.
So obviously we have beauty standards.
Dumbass question.
Man, get this shit out of here next.
Obviously we have
Let's hear it.
we had the beauty standards of Hollywood, you know,
Yeah.
but
I used to love some mid. I'm telling you right
Yeah.
now. I don't be loving that mid as much as I used to.
now social media we have people getting BBLs, veneers, we got looks maxing, mewing.
Yeah, I be
like,
looking
like
Bro,
aesthetic
Mewing
builds,
cannot be real.
right? Like that's some kid shit. I don't know. That came after I was too old, so I don't.
I mean,
had to look it up.
we be looks mixed.
Yeah,
friend.
Yeah, with that hair you got.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got that from
God.
Turkey.
Yeah.
Something new.
Anyways, yeah, obviously social media skewed people's perspective on themselves and like what they view as beautiful or handsome, whatever the fuck you want to
I
call it.
also think that affects dating as well.
Yeah, because
Because-
now your whole expectations up here.
Yeah, now you
Bitches
want
should really be down here.
now you want it's not even expectations. It be people who's not even ugly, but you think they ugly because you looking at this
Comparative.
person.
That's why all I
Yeah,
need
they not
is
even
nice
ugly.
to me and doesn't smell bad. That's why. That's all I need, and
And that goes for men and women. Whatever sexual orientation, you look at this celebrity or whoever on social media and they got filters, they might be photoshopping, or even if they aren't, you know. Oh, I heard somebody say one time, and I thought this was the craziest point. Someone
Men
said,
were not supposed to see this many beautiful women.
Yes!
in their life. I knew he was about to say. That's it. Men was not supposed to see this many beautiful women.
Yes,
My-
we weren't meant to see this many bad bitches at one
My
time.
baddies per scroll is too high, bro.
Yo,
My baddies per scroll is way too high.
and now you in your head like, damn, I need a baddie like that. Yo, you better get yourself a modest little whoever, just like you, just how you modest or whatever. Get yourself a little modest or whatever.
Yeah, no, I
That's
agree
my
with that.
say.
There's like people feel like they have so many options, but that's an illusion. You don't have as many
that
options.
is an illusion.
except for when you're in college. So better make the most of it. If
Yeah.
anyone watching's in college, that's the only time. Once that shit runs out, you're just a bitch.
You back back in the old days as bitch.
Nah, and it's a combination of like looks and personality. You need somebody who's like, because it be good looking people who be crazy. Like you be like, bro, I can't deal with you.
But yeah, I'll be having body
Can't be
dysmorphia,
bad.
bro. And I'm, you know what I'm saying? I go to the
That
gym.
too.
That
I
nigga.
go to the gym.
Yeah.
I'm built. But yo, I be
That's
seeing
right.
like these 16, 17, 18-year-olds on trend, big as a bitch. And
way
I be
he
looking at
mentioned
them
trend.
like, damn,
No way
they
he just
only
mentioned
16 and he already bigger than me.
This
What am
guy-
I doing wrong?
This guy literally wants to be built like Baki.
And then I'll be like, you know what?
Sulek.
Maybe a cycle isn't that bad because everybody's doing, you know what I'm
Just
saying?
remember,
Like-
just remember your story. You can write it. We need to do this.
But yeah, like, yeah, shit like
Yeah.
that skews your perspective on like what is normal, what is supposed to, like, especially for these young teenagers. You know what I'm saying? They see like these Chris Bumsteads, like Sam Sulek,
I have
super
no
bodybuilders.
idea who
but
that
you're
is.
right, but you're right. And it's
Yeah.
like YouTube Shorts and all that bite-sized content is always at the forefront when you open up these apps. So it's like the first thing you see.
Uh-huh.
So if you click like one thing of that, it'll always like. I remember I looked up one vid of some grilled cheese. It's over. All my shorts are grilled cheese. It's not even possible.
What is he talking
That's a
about?
euphemism.
No,
That's a
but I'm
euphemism.
just telling you that on your page on like these apps, you watch one thing and then it all goes
Oh,
in there.
well, okay,
And
yeah,
then
I
it
understand
just,
what
like,
you're saying.
it
I
just
understand
takes
what you're
over. So like I
Yeah.
got all these grilled cheese videos now,
Yeah.
and I don't even be making grilled cheese.
Out here,
Similarly, the gym thing can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
I see a vid of Sam Sulek, and I see his back is equivalent to 3 of my whole bodies, and I'm like, damn, he's a go. I'm like, damn, I gotta get back in the gym, lift more weights.
perpetuated insecurities. You know what's crazy? That could be his genetics, and that's just not your genetics.
Exactly, yeah.
And that-
but
and that's the
now
fuck
it's in my
part.
head like, yo, I'm doing something wrong, even though like my body could be, you know what I'm saying, valid. But
yeah, so make that choice.
comparatively,
Make that step, that next step.
all right, starting a cycle, fuck it. Let's do it. Fuck it.
No, we're natural over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, or like you were saying, with the veneers, with the BBLs,
Mm.
all that, it's still the same shit. These young people are seeing, damn, he got nice teeth with these veneers. My teeth fucked up. Not even, bro. You just need a year of
Brace.
braces and you
Yeah,
straight.
just get
but now you
braces.
fucking up your regular teeth
That
to
shit
get
can
these.
extend to everything,
bum-ass
though.
ven- yeah,
Clothes,
yeah.
jewelry,
Exactly.
clothes,
Yes,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, social media has skewed this everything.
Yeah, man.
Ridiculous.
Rappers kept shouting out too many jewelers. Now
Yep.
everybody.
Now I'm going to Eliante.
Eliante.
Everybody needs.
And,
a
and he's saying,
piece.
buddy, you gotta leave. You can't
Yeah.
afford nothing here.
That's what I'm saying.
And they be-
I went in there. They said, "Sir, you're
So-
Yeah, you gotta go to the Claire's.
Social media be fucking up drip too. Like everybody got it now. Now it's like, okay, I'm one of those. Like if too many people, it depends what it is. So like obviously like Forces, whatever, Air Force Ones, all right, whatever. But like some people be fucking it up for the rest of us. I don't know.
Yeah, all these issues come from the same source. Like everyone wants
What
the
the next
cool
man
thing
has.
or the nice thing in the fastest way possible.
Yep.
So they're gonna find the easiest way to get it, or they're gonna steal that shit from somebody else and copy it. Which is, hey,
Remember when everybody was copying the Lil Yachty fit?
I don't know.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Yachty was copying 08 Bronx niggas, so I don't get
yeah,
it. With the rugby and cargo shorts, but all right.
trash fits.
actually,
All right.
you wasn't outside for the
That-
rugby
that-
and
that
cargo
was
Trash
shorts.
trash.
fits.
Forward, I
Y'all
think.
think Central C?
Yeah, I
was the
think
inventor
Central
of all that
C.
shit?
Yeah, Central C made the Nike tech suits.
Don't- Don't say that bullshit to me, bro.
He did.
Don't.
He invented New York.
Anyway,
Yeah, man.
next thing I want to say is, I think something very specific to our age group, which is like, what are we, millennials, late millennials?
We're definitely not
No,
millennials.
Zillennials.
Thunderman and I are Gen Z.
All right.
I'm
Y'all want to
26.
do
I'm
age reveal?
26.
We're
What do you mean age reveal? Like, I mean, sure. Like this was something we've been hiding.
What's your
like-
age?
I'm 35 now. I'm 28.
35 is
28.
crazy.
I'm 26 years old.
Why you said it like that?
Nothing. I just want to say like
I'm
that.
26 too.
Yeah, you getting up there, bro.
26. I'm 29. I'm
Oh,
pushing.
no.
I'm cool with that.
Wait, how old are you?
29.
Damn. All right, so
It's okay.
I'm 29 next month.
I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? So something very specific that I feel like our generation
Shit,
had
I'm old
that-
as fuck. I'm
that-
27 this year.
it's not that old. You're not that old.
nah, we old as fuck.
Nah, that's not that old.
You
My
push-
perspective shifted with
pushing
this. So
30,
I'm no
nigga.
longer like 30 so old. I definitely shifted with that mindset.
My 30s old as balls, bro.
Nah,
Remember
you
when
young.
Uzi said, "If you're 25, you lame," and then and that shit hit. It was like, yeah, if you
I'm
are
not
25,
lame, but
How
I
old
don't
were you
know.
at that time?
I'm probably like 21 or something.
At that time?
Yeah,
All right, you
I
was
can't
cool back
remember.
then. You was cool back then. You was like, I'm chilling.
Yeah,
When I was 21, 22, I thought I was God. Now it's over. Too
Oh
old.
my
But
God.
when you turn 30, you're right. You
No.
go through a look. You reset, and you're actually 20 again. when
Quick-
you're 30.
I don't know if that's how
Quick
that works.
No, it's
tangent.
true, it's
Quick
true.
tangent. I think being in your late 20s is way better than being in your early 20s.
yeah, easily.
Like I think that
you have
you're not
bread.
even super wise and super smart. You don't know everything, but you're definitely way further ahead than like someone who's 21.
Yeah,
It's
that's
your
true.
20s, but with
For the most
bread.
part.
Yeah,
If you got it like
if
that.
you got bread, yeah, not everybody.
You got it like that.
I'm not even saying that I got it like
Some
that,
of
but
us
I was
are
a. Co-
paying back a PPP fraud that we got caught on.
it's you're a college student, or now you have a job,
Yeah.
and a job is way better than being a college student.
That's
and
true.
broke.
Usually.
Hopefully,
Unless
Well,
your
this
job
guy has
is-
been college maxing this
No,
whole
no, no,
pod.
no, what if
This
your
guy-
job is something terrible though? I'm just saying. It depends. Sorry, I'm not adding anything useful with that statement. My bad.
Wait, but what were you saying with
Sorry,
this?
so sorry. All right, so back to what I was saying. So I think something very unique to our age group, or like maybe if you're from the ages of 25 to like 35, is that like
Damn, big
cartoon
range.
cartoons raised us. Like cartoon cultures are huge. It's
Yeah.
huge. Like our parents had cartoons, but definitely not how we had it. We had
Goku was
like
my
every
dad.
cartoon across the sun. SpongeBob is like a cultural icon. Fucking Pharrell had the SpongeBob chain, like insane.
Okay.
So, what's the question?
You tell me.
Tell me.
No, it wasn't really a question. I just wanted to say that. Like, I
That
think
you
it's
fuck with
kind of
cartoons?
cool.
Me too, man.
Like, I think it's just really cool how like, and like it molded us and like how we're adults and like everyone just makes SpongeBob
No.
quotes,
References.
references.
You know what's
and-
funnier than 24?
25.
Yeah, and everyone gets it.
Damn,
and that's
nigga, you
like,
old as hell.
I feel like I don't study psychology, but it got to be something like psychological about this.
Bro, it's not exactly that, but there was a study, and it was like a memory study, and they used Pokemon. They used the original 150 Pokemon,
Mhm.
and
151.
yeah, the 151.
Oh, uh-huh.
You think you better than me?
Yeah, keep going.
You forgot Mew.
People like I pull this up. I think it's pretty interesting, but just because of how Pokemon was introduced and how prevalent it was in our youth, like the fact that a lot of people are able to recall so many of those Pokemon
Mhm.
speaks to exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like I think I was watching an RDC video, they were doing this, but I think it was a couple of them. They did like in 5 minutes or maybe like 15 minutes. They named all the 151.
Mm-hmm.
We could probably do that. We could probably do that for a couple gens.
Yeah.
Like if we sat around for like 30 minutes or something like that, which
Yeah.
I think is pretty impressive.
5 minutes is mad crazy. They're fast as balls.
I wonder how much brain space that's taking up in my brain. All this
Right?
Pokemon
Like you
knowledge.
can name
Like,
if I say
yo.
what's this Pokemon and I show you a picture, you could get that faster than like
Instantaneously.
some
I could
math
get every single
problems.
one probably,
Instantaneously.
except for some of the shitters. But yeah,
The new shit probably not as much,
Yeah.
but
Except for like Quaxwell.
Yeah.
But like but I think it's damn, I lost my train of thought.
How we were raised on cartoons or something?
yeah.
well, it's cool to see. When you said that, we were talking about this earlier. Dragon Ball Daima, like that's one example of something that has been around for so long and
Mhm.
still so relevant. At least in my life, like I'm still watching Dragon Ball. That's
Yep.
crazy to me.
Yep.
What's top 3 cartoons growing up for y'all?
Top 3 cartoons growing up. I liked Rugrats.
That's not top 3.
Okay, you just asked what mine was.
Sorry, Dad.
Remember the who's your
Okay.
favorite artist? Give me a second. I need to think for a few minutes. Crazy moment that was.
You said, "What's your top 3?" Nigga? That
Rugrats?
shit's ass.
Actually, you're wrong.
What's Rugrats? Tommy Pickle? And all
Yeah,
that?
Tommy.
yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
how young are we talking?
Yeah, because I was gonna.
anything.
Just anything you
Your
grew up
top
with.
three.
There's like when I was 10, I fucked with Ben Tennyson. You
Okay,
feel what I'm
that-
saying?
Ben
that
10.
could be
Younger,
up
when
there.
I was like in kindergarten, I fucked with the Rugrats,
That could be
Just
up there.
top 3.
Pokemon,
Top
top
3.
three.
Ed, Ed
bro.
and Eddie, Grim Adventures of Billy and
You
Mandy.
can't pick top 3.
Y'all fucking with
All right,
Arthur.
SpongeBob.
Arthur's number one for me.
Arthur
Yeah.
fire.
I think Arthur number one for me because when I
Yeah.
was like whatever that age is, 4 or 5, I was addicted to that shit.
When he decked DW,
Like
He
bro.
got tight.
Nah, for a year or two.
He said,
Yo, I remember that shit, yo. And for a year or two, my parents only got me Arthur gifts. I went as Arthur 2 years in a row for Halloween. You know how whack you gotta be to be
With the
3?
glasses?
And
I
the
think
next year as 4.
You got a
go as the
3-peat
same
this
shit.
year.
Nah,
You got a
that's so
3-peat
dumb.
this year.
You gotta be so on balls to go as the same dude the next year as a little kid.
All right, what's your
That's
top
OD.
3? Because you said that.
me,
Yeah, go ahead.
top 3,
Arthur's a good
SpongeBob.
show. Oh, Recess.
Oh,
Recess.
Recess.
Recess
Yeah.
is fire.
With TJ.
SpongeBob, Hey Arnold,
Mm.
and probably Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay, that's a good top 3.
Oh yeah, I remember Avatar.
What about you, Thunderman?
Arthur and Recess. Recess is probably the best one ever. I saw that a lot when I was a kid. And then Nickelodeon wise, probably like SpongeBob or Jimmy Neutron.
Okay.
I like that. I like Jimmy Neutron a lot. I must have seen mad Jimmy Neutron
Who's your
episodes.
favorite character?
Probably Sheen or
Jimmy's
you build like
mom.
Sheen.
Jimmy's mom was so weird. Jimmy's dad was definitely the creator
Hugh.
of CTE. He was literally the dumbest motherfucker in the history of television.
Shout out to the Ducks.
Jimbo, it looks like you've been hitting the weights.
What's his name? Hugh Neutron. Oh, he was one dumb bitch.
He was like,
All right,
"Damn."
Kelly, what's your top 3?
If I had to break it down in phases, like before 10 and after 10, it would be way different. But I would say if I had to choose 3, I'd say Pokemon. I would say Adventure Time,
Adventure Time's crazy.
and I would have to say Naruto. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't want to include no anime.
Why not?
Again.
All right.
By
then-
definition,
all right,
by
then-
definition,
okay,
anime counts.
Okay, then Dragon Ball Z
Mhm.
gotta be up there. SpongeBob gotta be up there.
My favorite anime.
And you know what? Yep. Hey Arnold, gotta be up there.
Hey Arnold has one of my favorite Christmas specials of any show ever. It's just him needing to find a gift for Mr. Win, who is the Vietnamese guy in the boarding room, in the boarding house.
Ooh.
And like, it's just insane how a children's show gave like a history lesson on the war. I guess the Vietnam War. I'm not sure which one. I'm just assuming Vietnam since he's Vietnamese.
That's pretty dope though.
And
I like episodes like that when
Yeah.
like you don't expect it to be as serious or educational as it is.
They're very
But
mature.
they do that a lot with cartoons.
Well, back in the
shit.
day, they definitely did that more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why do y'all feel like things in the 90s were seem like higher quality than now? Like, or do y'all feel like that in general? That's
I
how I
do.
feel.
Well, I'm not
Like
really
media.
I'm not consuming like children's media like that, so I really can't make a.
Not children, that's
Comparison?
like everything.
Oh, I thought you meant like children's like cartoons.
No,
Everything, cartoons, movies.
American
I think
Dragon,
the standards
Jake Paul.
for children's media is just lower now. Like not
more
like
slop.
like it's like SpongeBob today versus SpongeBob before.
Yeah.
Like,
More brain rot.
is way more brain rot. Like before,
Also,
like
shows used to go on cable and shit. Now
Yeah.
they go to streaming, so you can make all types of dog shit.
I feel like there is part of it is like the fear of introducing certain concepts to kids too early,
I agree.
like death or things like that. Not even necessarily anything like super crazy. I feel like we shouldn't be afraid to introduce those things to kids at a younger age. I feel like that's what it kind of boils down to. So people just end up showing them like whatever bullshit.
There's a
Mhm.
lot more fence sitting now because people don't want to necessarily take like a side on things and like push a certain agenda. I think.
No, I disagree because I always see tweets of people crying whenever Disney shows like a gay couple or some shit like that. So I think that they still do introduce things in that sense.
They
Okay,
do-
yeah,
I don't think, like,
I guess
barriers were
that's
pushed more
true.
back then or anything like that. Personally,
I wasn't just talking about like children's culture. I was talking in general. I think media back then was way higher quality. I think sitcoms.
You don't think that's the nostalgia talking?
No, and what's interesting is you would think, but I think no, it genuinely was. I think it was genuinely high quality. Like I think they cared more. I think it was
Give me-
less about money.
Give me a time. Give me a specific.
90s. Let's say Disney movies, like 90s, like Lion King. Like they don't even make Pixar makes new movies, but Disney, they do a whole bunch of nostalgia baiting. So like Lion King, CGI Lion King.
I think part of it is that they're because they don't want to lose money, they just like
And that's the
recycle the same
problem.
shit.
That's
Also,
the problem.
I don't know.
They
It's
care
hard
about
to
money.
quantify too. Look at something like Despicable Me that's so big. Like
And when
people-
that come out,
But
2005?
no, Despicable Me is mad new. Like
No, it came out quite a time ago.
I would say within the last 20
And that's
years
DreamWorks.
is
Despicable
on
Me
this
is
side
10 years
though.
old, isn't it?
I would
Something like that.
claim
It's not
like
that old.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying that.
No, but
Despicable Me
my
not that
point
old.
with that is that it's like a newer thing.
Yeah.
And like, that type of thing. You probably ask. I mean, there might be people who were around for when Lion King came out that are our age that genuinely like Despicable Me more because that's like considered a high quality like series.
I
So,
think because the
I think it's
kids
hard to
liked it,
say.
the small toddlers liked it, because the guys are silly.
maybe I don't know. I haven't seen the movies, but I just know that that's like the big thing from Disney these days.
They ain't have nothing like Game of Thrones in the 90s. I don't care what you say.
Type shit.
Yeah, that's true. Personally, I think I like.
They didn't have no snowfall in the
That's
90s.
what I'm
Facts.
saying.
There was no
Oh,
Franklin
my
Saint in the 90s.
They ain't have my man's Little Meech in the 90s.
Yo,
Come on,
BMF
man.
it. Well, the real BMF was happening. That shit was the 90s, actually.
What the
true.
show?
There's some
Yeah,
Us-
wait. I
they
saw all
had-
6 seasons of Power. That shit could have never happened in the 90s.
Yeah.
50 could have never done that in the 90s.
Come
I don't
on,
know.
man.
Maybe it is nostalgia,
Yeah,
but I
I just
I
no.
don't-
I don't think it's like wrong. It's just I think they're both good. It's just
no. I think
it's like
there
an
was.
unquantifiable thing to say like a definitive. This is better than this.
I think
no. I kind of know what you mean though because I feel like things were greenlit less because things go to streaming less. So maybe things did have to adhere to like a higher
certain
standard
quality
because
to get
otherwise
greenlit.
they're not
That's
getting
true.
rolled out.
I didn't think about that.
People
Yeah.
had to take a bigger risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your ass had to go to the movies.
Yeah.
That was it.
Also, it was
Yeah.
harder to do all that shit. Put together a set, do this, do that,
Yeah,
and again,
yup.
it's the whole. Me and Akil just watched this movie, and it was a pretty decent movie, and it went out in theaters, and in 2 weeks it went to streaming. Like that's not how
Yeah.
things used to be.
Yeah.
Movies used to be in theaters for fucking 3 months, bro.
Yeah.
I remember Harry Potter and that shit. I wanted to watch this Harry Potter 4 or 5 on DVD when I was a kid. Waited 5 months for that shit to come out on DVD.
Yeah.
Shit doesn't. That would never happen nowadays. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a
That's a good point.
So I
That's a good
would
point.
agree with like, shit probably did, because I do remember watching movies always back in the day and being like, man, that shit was fire. There was, I felt like when I was younger, at least, there were less times I'd watch a movie with my fam or just movie in general and be like, man, that shit was garbage.
Yeah.
But I feel like nowadays I can watch a movie and be like, man, that was garbage. That shit was garbage. So I don't know, that maybe because I watch a lot of trash now for sure. But I don't know. I think the streaming culture of media did fuck up, like, quote unquote, the overall quality.
Or
perhaps.
maybe because things were new back then and now things are just remakes. Maybe that also could be a thing.
How you mean?
Is why I feel
Like
they
recycled
remake,
concepts?
they recycle concepts a lot nowadays.
Some of
Or
that
they
shit is
just
mad
remake.
annoying to me. You know, there's like 5 or 6 different Sonic shows on streaming.
But
like
back
different
then, Sonic
cartoons.
was new. It was completely new. Everything was
Yeah, but
Oh, so
completely
the
new.
ideas were
2025
fresh.
though.
I see
Why
what
are we
you're
still
saying.
milking that shit? Like,
Yeah.
like
Everything is like
Guess that shit
redone.
makes money.
So maybe
Yeah.
that's why I feel like that.
Do y'all remember the clothes conversation we had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how, like I think what we ended up getting to is like you could still find really good clothes out there, but it's like the market is flooded with bullshit. I think there is a lot of good stuff out here today, but there's just way more ass.
Well,
Because I
Way
built
more
this
ass.
city.
one thing with media
Me.
though is it's never been easier to find what the good like media is. You like, as opposed to other shit. Like if you want to consume good shows or movies, you just Google it.
Yeah.
Like you'll find some.
Nah. Some publications have dog shit opinions,
Yeah.
such as Pitchfork.
Oh yeah, I don't know what is. Oh, Pitchfork's music. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to end. Fuck Pitchfork. AK by Killy. All right. Well, that was a good pod. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. We'll catch you on the next one.